Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media Podcast. Thanks for joining me. And obviously, you just saw Scott Holburn there. He's going to be joining us today to break down the UFC fight card from Vegas. Returned from Abu Dhabi, and now they're back in Vegas. This was a bit of a cursed card. I'm going to get into some details on that. A lot of fights had to be canceled and changed, and it ended up only a really short 8-fight card, so it'll be a bit of a shorter talk today with Scott. But anyway, there was always good fights to break down as usual for the UFC fight card. What did you think?
Having a bit of a shorter card is kind of nice sometimes to get, be able to get through the whole thing. But it was actually a pretty good card. There's definitely some good fights on there, and it was a bit disappointing that I would like to see the Ed Herman fight myself, but he's always kind of fun to watch. But that is, it's a shame that about the COVID test, and then the people fainting in the back. I mean, actually after the Jennifer Maia fight, Joanne Calderwood fainted also. So I don't know if they were having some heat issues or what was going on there, but there was a couple of incidences of people fainting also.
Yeah, so really bizarre. Yeah, well, with COVID, we've had a lot of fights get canceled because of COVID. Nothing, none of the big main events. Until this was supposed to be Holly Holm main event, and her competitor ended up testing positive. And I'm going to just try to go down the list a little bit. Irene Aldana, so she tested positive for COVID. They had to cancel that fight. So then it became Brunson and Shahbazyan. And that was disappointing. Really would like to have seen that fight. Eric Spicely got caught for some had some weight cut problems and had to remove himself from that fight. And the UFC cut him. They were so angry that it was such a last minute call that they had to cut him. What were you going to say about the?
Well, I can't figure out how Gerald Mearshart, how he got tested positive the day of the fight.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're supposed to be having testing going in, so I can't figure out how they got so close to the event time.
Yeah,
with him actually testing positive.
Yeah, that was really bizarre. And then you mentioned the issue of the fainting. That was Trevin Giles supposed to fight Kevin Holland. All of a sudden, he was just getting ready to do his walkout and fainted backstage. So the medical team came in there and started evaluating him. They had really no idea why he fainted, so they had to call the fight off immediately. And obviously, Holland was really upset. Just about to step in the cage and get his money, and boom. Supposedly they called Ed Herman to make that fight, and he had already left the bubble and said he was drowning his sorrows in a local establishment in Vegas there. So Dana White was a little bit upset. He would have really liked to throw Ed Herman in there, because Herman had lost a fight with Mearshart over the COVID. So this was actually, I think, the lowest amount of fights on a UFC card in history, only 8, coming off the heels of a 15-fight card, which was tied for the busiest fight card in history. So, there was just a huge list of changes and things that went wrong with this card. It seemed to be pretty cursed.
Yeah, but I think that's the way it's going to be with the scenario they've got right now with COVID and stuff like that. I can't imagine every card, going off without a hitch. So I think it helps, in Abu Dhabi, they've got the fighters there. Everyone was been there for a length of time. I think all the fighters have been there for at least a week. So they know any of the test results way in advance. So
yeah,
I think you'll see a lot more of this with these UFC Apex fights.
Yeah. Yeah, well, obviously, Ed Herman wouldn't have been able to head to a local establishment outside the bubble if it was in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, so that would have been they would have been able to resalvage that. And make it happen. But anyway, let's break down these fights. We talked last week, and I said, I think Shahbazyan was biting off more than he could chew. I think he was stepping up in competition too high. Super highly touted, undefeated fighter. Just went in against somebody that was he was overmatched against, it kind of seemed like maybe they should have stopped it right at the end of the second round, but he lasted into the third round, but only 26 seconds in. It was definitely a great performance by Brunson, and showed Shahbazyan he's got a lot to learn before he can step in against that competition.
Yeah, I mean, Brunson made the necessary adjustments. I mean, Shahbazyan was hitting him pretty hard in that first round. He got caught a few times, and he made the adjustments. He went, he used his wrestling to striking, threatening with a double leg, and he just made the adjustments. And that's one problem with Shahbazyan being so young. He's never faced that kind of adversity before. And also too, I mean, we talked about the Rousey camp a bit last week. I'm not a huge fan of Edmund Tavardian. They just weren't able to give him the advice he needed for Shahbazyan to make the adjustments that he needed to. So, I mean, Brunson looked great though. He's still proven to be a relevant fighter, and he's got a ton of momentum behind him now. So hopefully he can utilize this time, utilize that jump to the main event card to give his career a bit of a jump start.
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of talk over the last couple of days now that he's supposed to fight Jack Hermansson next, which is, I think, a little bit too big of a step up in competition. Whitaker and Cannonier have agreed to fight for the right to the belt, the title championship fight. Hermansson, had a lot of ideas on what would happen, to that weight class, but Brunson and Hermansson supposedly next.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be a great fight. I mean, they both got great ground skills. I would give Hermansson a bit of an advantage in that respect, but on the feet, Brunson, he's still got that knockout power. So that'd be a great fight. I'd be excited to see that one.
Yeah. How about the Whitaker Cannonier? I was pretty excited to see they put that together.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be a great fight. Whitaker looked really good, and both those guys actually. Cannonier looked really good in his last fight too. So, that one I can't even suggest which way it would go right now. I think if it's a main event fight, which I imagine it would be, if it gets into the later rounds, I think the advantage will go to Whitaker. But it's gonna be fireworks for that one for sure.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Joanne Calderwood was supposed to have a title shot against Valentina Shevchenko. Obviously, that fight got canceled, and JoJo decided she would take a warm-up fight. It turned out to be a wrong decision. Jennifer Maia looked fantastic, and it looks like now she gets the title shot.
Well, Dana White said she's definitely getting the title shot, but we know how that can work, especially with this time of year when or this time with COVID and stuff going on. You never know, but generally it's tough for an opponent to get a title shot off of a loss. So I think Joanne Calderwood's going to have one or two more fights before she's going to get that shot. But yeah, when we talked about last week, bad choice for her. I mean, Maya looked really, really good, and she came with a plan and she was able to execute that plan perfectly against Calderwood. I was a bit surprised with Calderwood's decision. She's the one that initiated the takedown to go to the ground. It was against Jennifer Maia, who's a very highly skilled Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and she proved it, with getting her into that armbar pretty quick after getting to the ground. So, it just wasn't going well for Calderwood on the feet either. I mean, she was, she has that Muay Thai stance, very straight up, not a lot of head movement. And Maya, with her boxing skills, was teeing off on her when they were standing. So it was either going to be a really quick night or a very long night for Joanne Calderwood, the way it seemed. Yeah.
Well, she probably got a pretty good pave day for the co-main. I haven't seen what her money is quite yet, but maybe she wanted to keep busy, wanted the money. You and I talked, that she didn't probably stand very great of a chance against Shevchenko, and that division most people can't. What do you think about Maya going in there against her?
Shevchenko is just so skilled on every aspect. I mean, she's got a great ground game. She's one of the best strikers in the UFC. If not, she might be the best female striker in the UFC. I know a lot of Nunes fans might have something to say about that, but she's just so fast and so good on her feet. I just can't see it going Maya's way. I can't see anybody in that 125 division that could stand a chance right now. I mean, Shevchenko would have to have a pretty off night, I think, to lose to any of the top 5 in that division.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, Shevchenko is just a step above everybody, and I didn't think Calderwood stood a chance, but maybe Maya does. She looked really impressive. She definitely, was the better fighter in that fight, on the ground, on the feet. So. Let's see. Maybe Calderwood made the right call, because she probably would have got beaten up pretty bad by Shevchenko. Maybe she'll have an opportunity to get a few more paydays, before the possibility of that happening again. So anyway, let's switch to the next fight on the card there. Vincent Luque against Randy Brown. The silent assassin. Wow, he was super impressive. Being able to hold him up a little bit. Throw the shots, take him, put him down to the ground and finish him off. It was just a really amazing display of striking ability and thinking quick on his feet to make sure he wasn't a grounded fighter. Throwing that knee and then taking him down.
Yeah, Luque looked really, really good. I mean, Randy Brown, I was hoping to see him use his reach and his size a lot more, but Luque came out with a game plan to attack that front calf. And that took away the stepping power of Randy Brown, so it took away his jab. So once he was able to do that, I mean, Randy Brown didn't have any kind of answer for that. He didn't try to check the kicks or switch stances for a bit. I would have thought he would have switched stances for a bit, work the jab with his right, which is his power hand, and then get Luque thinking about that, or use more teep kicks to keep Luque back, and then keep pushing forward. I mean, he did that a little bit, but Luque was just so strong. I mean, when the guy's beating up your calf like that, you've either got to get closer or push forward so he can't tee off on that leg. But Randy Brown just wasn't able to do it, and he made the mistake of trying to reach. I think he was trying to reach down to ground himself, and like you said, Luque reached around, grabbed him, kept him up, gave him a knee to the head, and that could have stopped the fight right then and there. But then got a few more shots in on the ground. But Luque looked really good. Yeah,
Randy Brown's going to have to go back to the drawing board. It's got to be just so disheartening to hear the clock 4:56 in the second round. He had to last 4 more seconds, and he had an opportunity at a third round. Big mistake reaching for the ground there and trying to be a grounded fighter. Luque realized what he was trying to do, kept him above, made sure it wasn't illegal, and bang. Luque ended up calling out Nate Diaz after the fight. I thought that was going to be kind of great one if they can put that together.
Oh yeah, anytime Nate Diaz is on fighting anyone, it's always going to be fun. I'd like to see that. Again, Diaz is a nice thin, long fighter. Luque could utilize the techniques against Brown to work up against Diaz maybe, but Diaz is such a good boxer and so dangerous on the ground that he won't stand for what that kind of business from Luque for very long. That's the problem. Randy Brown really wanted to step up. He really wanted to up his game, up his opponent, and he just ran to a wall there.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, well, let's turn to the fight before that. One of your favorite fighters in the UFC card, Lando Venata. Had an opportunity against Bobby Green, fight of the night, and I don't know, did it get fight of the night honors
It
that night?
did.
Yeah.
It did get fight of the night. Both times they fought, two fights, two fight of the nights. This was a fun fight. I mean, Bobby Green really took it to him, though. Bobby Green controlled that entire fight. One judge actually gave Bobby Green a 10-8 round for the third round. I didn't see it that way. I don't think that was quite a 10-8. There's another 10-8 round we've got to talk about in this fight later, earlier in the card. But yeah, Bobby Green really took it to Venata, and Venata. The great thing about Venata is that when you look in those earlier fights, like against El Kukui, and he used his movement. He didn't use his movement that as well today. He wasn't moving side to side. He was very straight, moving straight forward, and Bobby Green's jab was just picking him apart. It was a beautiful display. Bobby Green looked great. His last few fights, he's looked great. He had to make a bit of a change. He had, I think he had a 3-fight losing streak going on before his last two, and he looked fantastic.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, he sure did. Yeah, I don't know. I was really surprised that Venata wasn't using that groovy movement. He always seems to get in there and be such an elusive fighter. He's so unorthodox, and I think that's always one of his biggest advantages, because it's hard to train for a guy that you just don't really know where he's going, what he's doing. I don't know. He wasn't light on his feet. He just didn't seem to have that same type of movement that he's been famous for. So yeah, it was unfortunate,
very flat-footed.
Yeah, flat-footed. Yeah, which was not the way he usually is. And I knew that both of these guys wanted fight of the night. They want that $50,000 bonus. So you do have to get into a bit of a firefight to usually get those these days. But he definitely was outpowered by Green, and Green took him, was able to knock him down and take him down. And yeah, it wasn't the same Venata that I've seen on other occasions for some reason.
Yeah, and he didn't utilize his knees and his high kicks that he usually does also. So I don't know. It's hard to say what was going on with him that night, but I know he didn't have his usual Jackson Wink guys in his corner. Greg Jackson and Michael Winklejohn weren't there. So I don't know if that played a difference, made a difference or not. I mean, I believe he's still at that camp. I haven't looked into it to see if he's moved, but yeah. So it was a bit of a disappointment. I mean, it was a great fight, definitely the best fight on the card that night. But I was expecting to see a little bit more from Venata, but Bobby Green he was that good.
Yeah, no, yeah, he's had a bit of a resurgence here, beating Clay Guida and then having great success against Lando Venata. Yeah, good on Bobby. He was definitely teetering on the edge of possibly losing his UFC contract and having to find regional fights elsewhere. Yeah, he looked really good and put on a really great performance. It was a fun fight to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm glad they pitted them together, and I think we all thought it was going to be the fight of the night. And like you said, they had a fight before there was fight of the night. It was a draw, and usually draws, don't become fight of the night. But those guys just know how to go in there and throw punches the whole entire 15 minutes, and it was very entertaining. Definitely worth my money to watch that one. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, again, anytime Venata's been on the card, he's always put out an exciting fight. And the other thing is, Bobby Green's losses were all close losses. So, he's got a resurgence, and he looks confident. It looks like he's having fun in there, and I'm excited to see him fight again.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. So that was the main card. Only 4 fights on the main card because of the Kevin Holland, Trevin Giles fight was called off. We mentioned that before. Anything more to speak about Trevin Giles? Have you heard anything coming from the hospital results?
Apparently, he was up right away, and he was stable, and he wanted to fight. He was ready to fight. He wanted to continue, but the commission called it off, which is probably the right thing to do. Again, I'm going to have to imagine that it has something to do with the weight cut, which will be a good segue into our next discussion of Martinez versus Sainz. Martinez missed weight by 5 pounds, I think.
4.5 pounds.
4.5 pounds. And that's a big miss.
Yeah.
That's not 1 pound. That's not that to me. That's a guy who's not even trying that last day. So, I'm starting to hear more and more of that. Fighters, choosing not to lose the weight, choosing not to put themselves through that last 4 or 5 pounds, and then because the win bonus is greater than the penalty. So, I mean, Martinez looked really, really good. His kicks and his knees and his elbows were on point, but it's like Dominic Cruz asked, how much of that is the weight cut? How much is that him having that extra bit of energy?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You and I, week after week, weight cut comes into our conversation. We're really proponents of them, stopping this from happening. Guys trying to fight at their normal weight. That 30% loss of their initial purse doesn't seem to deter some guys from, stepping in and being the bigger guy. Less problems with losing that weight. Not being drained as much. I don't know. Maybe that was a conscious decision on his part, but he looked really good. Amazing knees. He just really beat up Signs all over the cage. Signs looked overmatched pretty much the whole entire fight, and just didn't have any answers for him at all.
No, really, that fight actually probably could have been stopped in the second round. Also, didn't really need to go into the 57 seconds into the third that it needed to. Even when some of the Twitter accounts were calling for the fight to be stopped, or the corner to stop the fight between the second and third. So, yeah, Martinez just did a number on him. But again, you always have that weight cut issue in the back of your head, how much that played a part.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So the next fight previous to that one was Nate Maness against Johnny Munoz. Maness was supposed to fight Ray Borg. Borg ended up withdrawing, and Maness ended up winning decision there. Anything in particular do you want to point to on this fight?
No, I think that was Johnny Munoz's debut. I want to say.
I believe you're right. Yeah.
He's a tough guy too. It was pretty one-sided affair. Or maybe I'm thinking of the Jamal Emmers fight actually. But yeah, it was a one-sided fight with Maness.
Yeah. Yeah, well, what really stands out for me in this was the groin kicks, 3 in a row.
Yes.
Man, honestly, there was 10 counted. I'm not sure if that was an official count, but counted by the analysts, they said 10 groin kicks throughout these matches. But 3 in a row to this guy. He finally lost a point.
Munoz lost a point in the third, I think.
Yeah. So, geez, and that's got to be a really tough go when you're getting kicked 3 times in there. And, obviously you get a chance to get your win back and, get yourself, a little bit of a rest. But, man, 3 times, that's gauging on a disqualification type of, performance. It was brutal.
Yeah, finally the ref took a point away, which was the right decision. But it was there was a lot of low blows in this entire card. I think they counted 11 or 12 by the end.
Wow, crazy. Yeah. Okay, well, let's go to Jamal Emmers and Vince Cachero. Emmers winning the decision. Emmers was supposed to fight a Russian fighter, Timur Valiev. Valiev withdrew. Ended up getting a late replacement with Cachero. But Emmers, he was definitely the better fighter, super dominant. It was a one-sided affair in my opinion.
It was definitely a one-sided affair, and that's the one I was thinking in my head earlier when we were talking there. But Cachero, that is a tough kid, though. Jamal Emmers was hitting him with everything he could think of, and I can't believe that he wasn't able to put him away. It was definitely 30-27. He dominated the entire fight. but Cachero is one tough kid. Holy smokes! He didn't even on his face. He wasn't even wearing the damage that badly. But yeah, great. Emmers was a great performance by him, and definitely one of the more dominant one-sided fights on the card.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Well, good on Cachero. Getting a late call, having an opportunity. Yeah, looks strong. Maybe has to face some competition that's a little more at his level. Coming in, fresh. But I thought he looked strong. But Emmers is just by far and away the superior fighter in this one.
I'm wondering if Cachero should be fighting at bantamweight because he was much smaller than Emmers. So I'm wondering if because he came in last minute, he was fighting in a weight class ahead of larger than what he normally fights at, because he was considerably smaller than Emmers.
Sure. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, I agree. Definitely way smaller. Yeah, it was the big size advantage there. So yeah, okay. And you did mention this fight a little bit earlier, talking about a 10-8 first round. Cody Durden and Chris Gutierrez. Yeah, it was. What did you think that was a 10-8 round? That first round?
No, I didn't. I mean, it never even crossed my mind until some of the Twitter accounts were saying, "Oh, that's a 10-8, that's a 10-8," and then Cruz and those guys said, "Well, actually, it might have been because he controlled it so well, but he didn't do much on the ground. I mean, he tried for a rear naked choke, and he was able to give him little short shots, but to me, that wasn't a 10-8. And you could see from Gutierrez's reaction, he didn't think it was a 10-8 round too, because once the rest of the fight happened, the second and third, it was all Gutierrez.
Yeah. Well, it was a great takedown by Durden. He definitely, really was working for some submissions. Looked really great, on his feet. Like you said, it's funny when you start seeing those, flashes from Twitter on the corner, and guys are making calls from their house.
Which I like. I like that. That's a new thing they've done. I actually kind of like it.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it too. But it definitely influences the call. I think from the analysts, they start saying, "Oh, okay," because I don't think I would have scored it a 10-8. You think of 10-8s as huge knockdowns. A guy that's dominating the whole entire fight with many submission tries and just not getting it. But it was a surprise. But it ended up in a draw because Gutierrez was the better fighter in the next two rounds. It's got to be frustrating for a guy who really should have been the winner, but loses because some judges decided, oh, that was 10-8. It was the first fight of the night. Really bizarre.
Yeah, all three judges had it 10-8.
Wow.
Which was shocking to me. I didn't even think that until I started seeing the Twitter accounts come up. But Gutierrez he's got to be kicking himself. But on the other hand too, he'll never let that happen again.
No.
And I honestly think he was hoping for the ref to stand them up. I think because of the lack of significant damage that Durden was doing. But yeah, I was shocked.
There was a comment made, and I thought it too. Actually, just around exactly the same time as the comment was made. His nickname is El Guapo, and I thought, hey, that's not fair. You gotta that's Boss Rutten's nickname, and Boss is a legend. A guy that you should never have a same nickname as a guy that's got Boss Rutten's status in the game.
Yeah, I don't even know what El Guapo means.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's something about. Yeah, no, I think it's like Mr. Handsome or something like that. I think it is, but yeah, no, I was disappointed. Come on, you got to pick a better nickname. Boss Rutten is a legend in the sport, and he deserves that nickname to the day he dies. Yeah,
I mean, just a bad decision on Gutierrez's part just to let that happen on the ground like that, because I think he's too good a fighter to let that happen. I mean, he was on a three fight winning streak, and that's now come to an end with it from a new kid, Cody Durden, who's making his UFC debut. But give Durden credit. I mean, he's a wrestler by by, I don't know if by trade, but he's definitely got a big wrestling background, and he utilized that in the first round. And I don't know. Gutierrez has got to just be kicking himself right now.
Yeah. Quite often, I recommend our viewers and listeners to try to find some of these fights. I recommend watching that fight. Try to score that round yourself. It was an amazing takedown. It was super impressive. He just worked really, really hard and was able to, pull him down. And he was dominant. Look for submissions. He wasn't as dominant as a lot of other guys we've seen look for submissions, but watch it. Give your own opinion. We have complained a lot about a lot of referee decisions, and it's strange to call out the referees. But like you said, all three judges somehow saw it that way. Maybe somebody from the commission came up and said, "Hey, don't forget 10-8s. Don't forget 10-8s." And the very first round of the whole card.
It's rare to see 10-8s in general, and to see I didn't think that the third round between Lando Venata and Bobby Green was at 10-8 also. One ref gave him that too. So who knows? It's different when you're sitting on watching it on TV. But I did not think that Gutierrez fight was a 10-8 first round.
No, you're right. No. Yeah. So anything else that you want to mention about this particular card?
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see where where Shahbazyan's going to go from here. I don't know, move camps.
I was just about to say the same thing. That's the smartest move. Yeah, come on. That camp hasn't impressed me in years and years and years. And
no, they rode the Ronda Rousey wave. Yeah. And then they told her she was a striker, and for some reason, because she knocked out Beth Kohara in the 40 seconds or wherever it was, and then after that they thought she was, they thought she was Chris Cyborg or something. So then she started stand and strike with both Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes, and we all know how that worked out.
Yeah, ended her career right then and there. And the other thing that kind of blew me away was they said that Shahbazyan was her training partner, her sparring partner all the time in that camp. And he was 16 years old. He was a young little kid. And they said they didn't have somebody that, resembled or was her same weight class, could give her a match. There's thousands and thousands of fighters around the world. And a lot of people would have just jumped at the opportunity to spar with Ronda Rousey, and that's the person that she's sparring with every day. Did you see some of the footage of her just throwing him down over and over and over? Like you can't get to the elite level she got and stay there if you're facing that type of competition every day. That easily beating a 16-year-old kid. Come on, like that just solidified that camp has some serious issues.
They're in California. Team Alpha Male, that is full of the world's best 135 fighters, is just down the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they could have gone, the best 135 fighters come out of Team Alpha Male in California. Yeah. Would you agree?
Oh yeah.
So to say definitely. They couldn't find a 135-pound sparring partner, one call to down to Team Alpha Male, and Uriah Faber would have I'm sure been on board with that.
Oh yeah. No, it absolutely blew my mind. They were trumpeting him as the next one. Look what he was able to do with Ronda Rousey. I'm like, what the heck is that have anything to do with it? This is a kid. This is a young kid. He was absolutely just going in there and getting tossed around constantly. Judo throw after karate, and it was ridiculous. It just made me think, come on guys, like give me a break. This is not the type of competition Ronda should have been facing, and not the type of competition he should have been facing. And suddenly you're thinking that he's gonna blast through this division and become the champion on that, based on that. Like give your head a shake. It's ridiculous.
Look at Travis Brown's record before moving to Glendale Fighting Club and look at his record after moving to Glendale Fighting Club.
Mm.
Look at his performances. It was like watching a different fighter.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that kind of coincided with USADA. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. I mean, but all I know is that Travis Brown went from being one of the most dominant heavyweights in the division to being chased out of the UFC. I mean, and I don't know who else they have there out of that Glendale Fighting Club. I can't even think right now.
Yeah. No, just disappointing. And, Shahbazyan, find another camp. I mean, I think they're, I think they're from the same country, background, that kind of thing. So I think a lot of fighters, from that part of the world do, sort of, want to train with, the same type of countrymen. And, okay, great. But, a lot of fighters have proven that moving camps have done a lot better job. We saw it with Cody Garbrandt recently, and we saw that with a lot of guys. Switch up your camp. Take an opportunity. There's a lot of great camps in California and all over that you should go to and see. I think they probably do a better job with your career.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to stay in California, obviously Alpha Male's that's too small a camp in terms of like the physicality of the fighters. But you can move up to AKA, and and there's a strong pedigree of fighters there with like Luke Rockhold, Daniel Cormier, and Khabib Nurmagomedov. I mean, like it's like there's no shortage of camps in California.
Yeah, no, you're right. So. Yeah, so that was fairly predictable in my opinion. I thought Brunson would dominate, and he did. Now he's getting a chance at Hermansson. That looks like that'll be fantastic. I was happy to see Whitaker Cannonier. That's going to really shape up that division and just show who's going to get the title shot. I'm glad it's great. Whitaker, I know we talked about Whitaker getting that title shot, but I think it's kind of smart that he gets one more opportunity before he goes in there against Adesanya probably.
Yeah, I mean, Whitaker, that seems to be the fight to make right now with Cannonier. So, and he's not the type of guy that's going to shy away from anybody. He's not going to be one of those guys who dig his heels in and say, "I want the title shot next." At least I don't think so. That whole division is so tight too, in terms of skill level and stuff like that. And I think he'd probably want another warm up fight against to jump right into fighting Till, who was a 170, moving up to going up against Adesanya. I think it's smart for him to have another fight in between.
Yeah, we'll see how Costa Adesanya turns out, but I think most people figure Adesanya will be able to. Stay away from him and keep the fight where he wants it to be and take the victory. And Darren Till now, I heard he's got a pretty serious ACL tear. He's going to be on the shelf for quite a while. So
6 months, I think.
Yeah. So he'll have an opportunity, I guess, to reevaluate what he wants to do. Coming off some really tough losses, and I guess as this division takes shape, then he'll be able to step in and maybe 9 months or whatever and get that chance. So it was an interesting card. Really too bad a lot of the things happened to derail main events, and a lot of the fights were changed, and we just had difficulty with this one. Only an 8-fight card, so kind of a quick conversation today, but we've got to look ahead to Dana White Contender Series on this Tuesday, and then we've got Derek Lewis against Alexei Oleinik next week. I think you and I are going to try to break it down closer to the weekend. Just do a really short call, and we'll talk about our best bets and who we're looking forward to. I am looking forward to seeing Weidman on the card too in the co-main event, it'll be something fun to do later on in the week.
Yeah, we'll check in later in the week because a lot can change, especially in these days.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay. Thanks so much, Scott. Appreciate it as usual. Enjoy the rest of your holiday today.
Yeah, thanks very much. And Shahbazyan, stay away from Count Chocula there.
Good. good idea. Okay, cheers. All right, thanks so much.
See you later.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, no, we both, very critical of that camp, and some of the things we've seen from there. Yeah, no, it hasn't gone well. I think they deserve a lot of criticism, and Ronda Rousey, definitely could have been, continuing her reign atop the division for many years. If she would have just, utilized her strength and fought, how she did earlier on in her career. And then, he mentioned Travis Brown, and we see Shahbazyan. Yeah, they shouldn't have put this kid in this fight quite yet. He needed some more tune-up fights, and I think we knew it. Yeah, it was unfortunate. 8-fight card, a lot of medical emergencies and health issues and problems, plagued this card, but glad we're through it. UFC's back in Vegas. They've got this Dana White Contender Series to, start seeing the new guys, the new blood coming into the UFC. It's going to be a lot of fun. And next Saturday, we got a big one. 2 weeks from now, we've got the trilogy fight between Stipe Miocic and Daniel Cormier. I can't believe it's already almost here. We're really excited about that one too. So thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed the show as usual. It was a great breakdown of UFC Fight Night, Apex. A lot of fun. I'm glad they're back in Vegas. I hope they can make a really great card this next week. So take care of yourself. Look forward to talking to you later on this week. Enjoy the fights. Bye for now. Love you.